Hey guys, I'm Chef Scott. This is Devil's Food Kitchen, and today's video is a recipe for deep dish apple pie. I mean, come on, I am really excited for this one. I'm going to be covering how to roll out the pie dough and line a deep dish pie shell. I'm gonna go over how to make the filling, how to compose the whole thing, and how to bake it. The pie dough and the crumble are actually leftovers from two other videos that I made. I always save the extras of those recipes so that I can use them for projects like today. So if you want to know how to make my pie dough, you can get that recipe in the description below, as well as my recipe for crumble. I've never been a fan of traditional pie tins. They're really shallow, so you don't get a lot of filling in them, and filling is what pie is all about. And that chamfered edge makes an easy extraction of the pie, but it's not very stable. Every time you go to cut a slice, the pie breaks and it's just sloppy. So I like the deep dish option. It's a lot of filling and it's a really stable slice. For the filling, I'm going to be using two different types of apples, green apples or Granny Smith and Braeburns. Both of those apple varieties have a really dense cellular structure, which makes them great for baking. They're going to hold their form, whereas other apples will tend to get mushy after you bake them. Green apples are really bright and acidic. They have a tart flavor, while Braeburns have a much sweeter profile. So by using a combination of both, we get a balanced overall pie filling. Those are all the notes I have this week, so let's get started in making our deep dish apple pie.
Line the inside of a cake ring with a thin coat of butter. I'm using a cake ring that's 8 inches in diameter and 2 inches tall. Flour your work surface and your cold pie dough evenly. 1 pound of dough is enough for this project. Begin rolling out your pie dough. I roll by applying pressure with my right hand only, continuously moving the dough in a circle and working on just one corner. This keeps the dough in an even circle and keeps it from sticking to the table. With this method, you don't need much flour at all. Cracks may form when the dough is cold, which is no big deal. It's easy to fix at this stage with a little patch of dough. Continue rolling the dough to 1/8 inch thick, then check to make sure it's rolled large enough for the cake ring. For this ring, the dough should be at least 12 inches in diameter. Place the dough over your cake ring and gently work it into the ring. Working on a non-stick baking mat helps a lot with this step. Working with one section at a time, push the dough down to the bottom of the ring and up the side, ensuring it adheres to the cake ring and there are no air pockets. This step takes patience. Strike the excess dough off of the top of the ring with a paring knife. Chill the pie shell for about 15 minutes minimum before the next step. Combine equal parts of flour and sugar and mix them well. Brush the inside of the pie shell with a thin, even layer of egg white, making sure to coat the sides and corners too. Add the flour-sugar mixture, spreading it all over the inside of the pie shell. This combination will help keep the dough from getting soggy when the apples release water during baking. Remove any excess flour-sugar mixture and the pie shell can go back into the refrigerator for at least 30 minutes up to overnight.
Hey man, what's wrong with you?
To prepare your apples, have a cutting board, knife, and peeler ready, as well as a bowl of water with lemon juice added to it. Before peeling the apples, I like to put down a layer of plastic wrap to make cleanup easy. Peel your apples directly onto the plastic wrap, placing them in the lemon water once they're peeled. This will prevent them from oxidizing and turning brown. Once you're finished peeling, you can simply wrap up the peels in the plastic wrap to discard them. Remove the apples from the lemon water to begin to cut them. Cut the apple from the core and remove any peel that's remaining. Then, cut the apples into 1/4 inch slices and place them back into the lemon water. Drain the apples before moving on to the next step. To begin the filling, combine the cornstarch and water, whisking them together to create a slurry and reserving it to use later. Melt the butter over low heat. You don't want it to boil before it fully melts. Add the flour to the melted butter, whisking them together until the mixture is smooth. Bring the mixture to a simmer and cook while whisking for 1 to 2 minutes or until it begins to thicken. Add the cornstarch slurry, then the sugars, whisking them to combine. Add the vanilla and bring the mixture to a gentle boil. Cook while whisking for 2 minutes. After cooling the mixture for 5 to 10 minutes, add it to the drained apples, mixing until well coated. Let this entire mixture continue to cool to room temperature. Fill the pie shell, laying the apple slices flat as tightly as possible and layering them in a crisscross pattern. The crisscross pattern helps add stability to the finished pie and make sure that every pie slice is nice and clean. The apples will lose a lot of volume during baking, so be sure to fill to the very top of the crust. Add any remaining filling liquid and let it settle into the gaps of the apples for a few minutes. Top the pie with a nice full layer of crumble. This is what makes an apple pie Dutch style. Place the pie on a second sheet pan and it's ready for the oven. I like saving extra pie filling in a Ziploc bag. You can freeze this and defrost to use for another time. Once the pie is baked, to make it easier to remove the cake ring, I gently press the crumble back from the ring and remove any filling that has spilled over the side and may stick to the ring when it cools. Once cool enough to handle, remove the cake ring. I like to let the pie continue to cool for several hours. The last step of this apple pie is to cut a slice, serve it up, and the best part, eat it. For a little added decoration, start by cutting several thin slices of apple. Gently fan them out, and this can be placed on a slice or the whole pie for a pro touch. If the decoration is going to sit, I suggest brushing it with a little lemon juice to keep it from oxidizing.
All right, guys, I've got to get going. There is a large portion of a freshly made pie I need to consume immediately. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider subscribing. If you are a subscriber, thank you so much. I really appreciate the support. Don't forget to turn on notifications and you'll never miss a new recipe when it pops up. Until next time, I'm Chef Scott for Devil's Food Kitchen.